Hey, everybody. It is time to talk about adventures in Asheville, a beautiful destination in West North Carolina, up in the mountains. And right now, the fall leaves are everywhere. It is golden delicious, actually. That's what I'm going to call Asheville during this season. And today we're going to be talking about shopping in Asheville for the holidays. We're here every first Tuesday with our friends Steve and Karen Wilson. We call them Mr. and Mrs. Wild of Asheville because they're either out helping guests and everything, being nice and calm. Then they're nice through everything. Then they're out chasing wildlife, not chasing them. They don't get in front of the elk or, do that kind of thing, but they're out in nature, and then they're out hanging out with bands and going to concerts. So they're wild and cool. They run the Lion and the Road Bed and Breakfast in the Montford Historic District, and it's gorgeous there. I think over 600 homes to explore. So check them out at lion-rose.com, and they've got a special friend Jay joining us. But first, Mr. and Mrs. Wild, how wild has it been? How are you?
It's been pretty fun and wild. No complaints.
Hey, the last time you were on our show, we did the big weekly blend, which was full of giggles, as we always have on these shows. But you were on your way to, like a few days of music and concert and mayhem, and came back and immediately, I see that you were at Willie Nelson within 48 hours or
2
something
days.
crazy.
Yep,
Yeah.
we were. Yep.
Was it a good
that
show?
was fun.
Cool.
Yep.
Very cool.
We just jump right back into getting back into the groove. Work hard, play hard.
Yeah.
See, that's the best. That's healthy. Balance.
By the way, having been at the inn since we saw you and we did our few days stint of running an inn, we like to swap roles with Steve and Karen. They sometimes write in the magazine and sometimes we run the inn. I don't know why they do it, but they actually trust us that much. And we're like, holy cow, everything has to be perfect. But your guests, I want to say you have the best guests. I think
I think so. I think so.
They're just so nice, and everyone seems to be out there for an adventure, no matter what age. And I've seen pretty much, anyone from in adulthood arrive there. And people that over the 3 times we've done it and stayed there also with being a guest, people going there for a honeymoon, for anniversaries, their first time as B&Bers going, oh, wow, who knew we could have conversations over the table? And we watched people just have so much fun and connect with each other. Is that part of it for you guys? Just bringing people
Absolutely.
that didn't know.
It's one of the biggest parts. Yep. Finding the connections. We were just discussing that just about an hour ago with these guests. They had a connection with Chicago with each other, and then there was the connection with one of my guests and me with Buffalo. So we just the connections. It's such a small world.
Yeah.
And you hear it all at your table. That's what an innkeeper who's recently retired, Andrea, said that she said, every morning I'd have the world at my table having these conversations. And she just would sit, and because she had an open kitchen where everyone was sitting, that would never, Nancy would never be cooking for you guys if that happened with an open kitchen. She would just sit there and keep cooking. And she does. She stuffs you. She just keeps cooking and putting food in front of you, and you don't realize how much you've eaten because it's all so good, and you just keep putting it in your mouth. But she would have. She said the whole world was at my table every single day.
That's perfectly said. Perfectly said. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, speaking of connections, one of your friends, Jay Schultz, is here. He is the owner of Spartan Photography, and he does those cool drone photos, but he also does human photos. See, just saying. But welcome, Jay. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Doing good. Tell us, how do you do those human photos? I'm just kidding, but because when we think drone photography, we don't really think of people all the time in them, and that's something that you work with, right? You do couples photos, portrait photos, so kind of do a little bit of everything.
Yeah, a lot of the people that are my clients as a drone photographer are real estate, land development, construction, roofers. But in doing drone work, I came across an idea to take pictures with them, especially here in Western North Carolina. There's a lot of elevation change here, I might say. And so with that elevation change comes the opportunity to use the drone for some creative shots.
That's
Wow.
amazing. And your photography is really good. And what is interesting to me, you're doing all kinds of subjects, and there's even one of an inside. And you know what? I hate to say this, Steve and Karen, with you both on the show, but photographing interiors, real estate, and bed and breakfast,
Mhm.
I'm sorry, is one of them, is actually pretty difficult to
It is.
get it to be
I'll tell you.
honest
Mhm.
and not like, you know, use every filter in the
Yeah,
world to do it. And your
you're right.
photography is very honest and great. It's fantastic. People need to go there, spartanphotography.zenfolio.com. So that's really cool what you're doing, Jay. So have you been in photography for your whole life, or tell us a little bit
I actually
about
picked it
that
up in
journey?
college. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
Mm.
in college and I needed to get an art credit, and so I took digital photography and I just fell in love with it. That was about 2006, and I just really honed my skills doing photography with portraits and studio lighting and just controlling light and seeing light, which is really kind of the crux of photography.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got my first drone, I just fell in love with it because there's just so much that you can do with a drone that you can't do with a regular camera.
That's cool.
That's I
Mm.
want one now, but
I
you have to
want
get
one.
yeah, but there's a learning curve on a drone, right? For how to make it fly. Like I think about all those people in those the little air controller park things, those little plane things, or those little yachts in the
Mhm.
pond. I have no idea what I'm talking about, but the people hold
The
things in their
RC.
hand and
Yeah.
go
Mm.
here, go there. But it's not easy.
Mhm.
I've tried that before and I'm like, oh, wait a minute. It looks easy if you're watching it, but it's not. But isn't it kind of like that doing the drone? You have to kind of understand those skills to do it.
Yeah, definitely. I didn't really grow up playing video games besides the whole stick with the button Atari, and those skills that I needed had I grew up playing video games would have made this a whole lot easier for sure. But yeah, you practice hundreds and thousands of hours. Well, not hundreds of thousands of hours, hundreds of hours, up to thousands of hours. I said that funny. But if you get plenty of you get plenty of
Everybody
flight hours
quick laugh.
in,
No, I'm kidding.
you, you start to get good at it. And
Mm.
the drones technology is also increasing too, so it does make it a little bit easier to learn on some of these GPS enabled drones. And I also have my Part 107 SUAS pilot's license, which is required if you're doing drone photography professionally.
Mm.
Oh, wow. Okay. So that's what I was going to say. And then don't you need to have permits as well for certain areas? I don't know about North Carolina, but other places we know, especially with national parks and things like that, that
Mhm.
sometimes you have to have permits and then, once you get your foot in the door versus someone just trying it on their own, you know what I mean? Um, do you have to go through those kind of things here?
Yeah, there's all kinds of rules that the FAA has, and
Mm.
North Carolina, any federal lands they have special rules. A lot of parks you can't fly a drone unless, like you said, you talk to the rangers and get a permit to do so. But those are far and few between. So even like the Blue Ridge Parkway is considered, I think it's 694 miles long. It's all
Mhm.
it's all national parks, so you can't fly your
Mm-hmm.
drone up there either.
Yeah,
Well,
right.
Hmm.
Right.
Unless you go
if
in the
you
forest.
think about it, if everybody had a drone and everybody could do whatever they wanted, then we'd be ducking.
Yeah, we would be
Yeah.
ducking.
We would because there'd be drones all over the place.
Yeah.
And it is an invasion
Mhm.
of privacy to some degree sometimes.
Yeah.
You have to
Until
Yeah.
have some
Amazon
kind
starts
of,
delivering with the drones.
Oh boy.
yes,
Yeah.
Anything to
we
take
need to
people
have
out, right?
we have to have regulations because people do stuff that, you know,
Hmm.
shouldn't
Well, I
be
was
Will
gonna,
done.
abuse.
yeah,
Yeah.
Jay, as
Hmm.
Mhm.
because I know your background is also serving in the military. Thank you for your service. Um,
Mm.
do you think that that adds to you understanding things like GPS? Like we all think we know GPS because we tell our phone to do something, and sometimes the phone says, I don't know North Carolina, like mine does a lot.
Yeah.
But like
Confused yet.
we as human beings using these phones actually don't understand coordinates at all, unless you're on the geeky side or in the military or
Mm,
mapping, hiking, people who
yeah.
understand those coordinates. But I wonder how many people walking around with their GPS or driving around with actually understand what that does. Just saying, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Being in the military for 23 years, when I first started out, it
Mm,
was just a map and a compass. It sent you out on your way. And I would say it was about 2001 we got the first GPSs, and that was, the military. Being in the military means you get all the cool new gadgets first, and you get to try and
yeah.
break them.
Cool.
So
Well,
that's always
Like the
fun.
internet.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
internet was the military first, and
Hmm.
so even
Mm,
drones. A lot of the drones that are coming out now, we've actually been using them for reconnaissance and those kind of things in Afghanistan and Iraq. So
Yeah.
yeah,
mm-hmm.
And it's interesting too when you think about, the internet and how all these things do go through the military first, even M&Ms, because M&Ms were created so they wouldn't melt in pockets for the military that were out. So now we have
yep.
M&Ms
Mm,
because they
Hmm.
don't melt. Yeah. They will
yep.
melt in your glove box though. I've tried that, but they're not supposed to melt in your
God.
hand, I believe, but it was
Hello.
for the
Right.
military. How about that? They got M&Ms and the internet first, for good reason.
I
Hmm.
mean,
Um,
it's just
Mhm.
another reason to join the military. I say.
is that the
Oh, yeah.
okay? Yeah,
It's
right. Yeah,
definitely a
I think
perk.
there's all
It's a-
kinds of reasons with that. So you're doing drone photography, and then people can go to your website and order because holiday cards. We are focusing on shopping, but we had to get to chat with Jay a little bit here and find out a little bit more of his backstory. But in regards to the
Hmm.
holidays coming up, are you working with people locally, or even visitors that love the Parkway or love coming out to Smoky Mountains or even Asheville, doing like Christmas card photos and end of year family photos? Some people actually still mail like a newsletter to each other as families with a photo. Um,
Mhm.
are
Hmm.
you doing that kind of work?
Yeah, so the for the shopping thing, I actually have a special going on for portraits, and we can do them with a regular camera, or we can do them with the drone. Either way, and it can be as many people in the picture as you want. It's going to be a one-time photo. You get a couple of different options to choose from. You order the photo, and you can order your cards to send out, your Christmas cards to send out, and you got to
Mm.
get that done early and get it out of the way. So we're doing it for $50.
Mm.
Oh wow, that
That's
is
awesome.
That's
that's
reasonable.
really
Wow.
reasonable. That's really reasonable
Yeah.
because it is.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I'd say so. And in regards to images, are people like, are you doing like me? I see music in there. I had to go there because of Mr. and Mrs. Wild. So are you going to concerts and doing images too for people, like in promoters and that kind of thing?
I like to take pictures at the venues and things like that. My issue is that when I'm there listening to music, I get caught up in the music and I forget all about my
Mm.
camera. So that
Oh,
hasn't worked out too well for me. So I typically just have stopped taking my camera to those venues. But a lot of times, whatever people are looking to do, if there's a special reason for it, I'm open to pretty much any project that's going to make me happy.
mm.
Cool. Very cool. Well, let's
Hmm.
talk a little bit more shopping because I think Asheville is so centrally located in with so much around it and in it, as like the
Hmm.
downtown and the arts district. And basically it's a good
Right.
destination to hang out in and travel, have fun, go to breweries, go to the Biltmore and all those kind of things too. But in between shop versus going to all the big box stores kind of thing where just have fun shopping,
Mm.
where you can actually breathe and think about who you're gifting. And I think a lot of people come back to Asheville over and over again. I know Nancy and I don't know what,
Hmm.
it's
Mhm.
that vortex. Karen, are you seeing a lot of repeat people, like repeat guests coming? They fall in love with Asheville and weren't
Mhm.
able to do it in
Hmm.
a weekend because you can't. And different
We
seasons
do.
too. Yeah.
Hmm.
Mm.
We do. We have people that come back because there's always something new to see, something to revisit. And then we have people that have meaningful things, like one of the couples, Steve had married, about a year and a half ago. They're coming back for their fourth time in December, and just nice to catch up. And they just, same thing, it's just revisiting something that feels like home, and we kind of, welcome them to our family. So it just like visiting friends in a place you love to just go explore.
Oh, that's awesome.
There is something about Asheville that as we travel the country, which we've done for a couple of years now, as we go, more,
over a
just
decade.
That it is first of all, it's very clean compared to other cities. And it's very welcoming. Like, people are friendly on the streets. They smile, they might wave, they might say hello, but they're not, in some cities where you walk, everybody's looking at the ground. And
right.
They just, like they don't know where to step next or something. And
don't want to step in something in some of those cities.
I know. So they're always looking at the ground, and they're not exactly looking happy. But in Asheville, they are. So you feel good there. You feel welcomed.
Asheville's cool
right.
and funky, and all kinds of people from all walks of life, right? And it's cool because there's also people just going to visit family, so they come back around. So I'm saying all this because it's kind of those things where people will have photos taken, of their family, in Asheville or, Smoky Mountains or someplace where they can, that is something that's reminiscent of what they're doing. And then there's people that are just moving to Asheville. I mean, real estate happens because of tourism, period. Like it is part of it.
True.
People go there, check out places, it's one of those things where people go, they fall in love with an area, and next thing you know what? Why don't we just get a second home? Or, hey, honey, let's just move here and start a bed and breakfast. That kind of thing. So it happens, but it starts with that community feel. And if a visitor doesn't feel like they're welcome as a community, and a bed and breakfast does that, the people running a bed and breakfast are wanting guests into their home. And it's this immersive, amazing experience. And so you start to feel at home immediately. And then you go to a restaurant and the wait staff is awesome and makes you feel like at home. You go like, this could be my Cheers bar, and things like that. So it starts to move on and grow with you when you start to know a place. It's like, maybe, there's a piece of land over here. Maybe I might be doing something, So tourism and travel plays a role in where people move to. And so when they buy their first home in Asheville, or, hey, this is where we're going to be for the holidays, I think people need to call Jay. I'm just saying. And
I think
go to a cooking class too, because you're in Asheville, which is really high up there in gastronomy. See, I can still say that word. But cottage cooking, can we talk about them? I want to bring them up pretty fast because part of holiday shopping is not just buying physical items, but experiences.
Right.
So, cooking cottage.
I'm excited to hear about the cooking. I can't wait to hear about it. I love cooking.
See, Jay's
you need to take one of their classes. We should do it together with you and Christy. It's a really nice. They do a small group. They do any kind of different cuisine. They have like 12 different classes. John and Lisa are the owners and operators, and they do it out of their home. They made their kitchen larger, renovated it, and you cook in the kitchen with them, and then you all sit down for dinner together. Bring your own alcohol if you want, and it's a nice few hours. Nice thing to do in the evening.
Hey,
that's awesome.
Teach you how to make a killer brownie. That's an important question.
The class we did was cooking with beer, of course. So couldn't go wrong there.
Oh, cool.
Oh,
yeah.
Jay, how are you about cooking with beer?
I think it's always a necessity. Some of my favorite foods are cooked in beer.
Well, you can make a really good beer cake because
beer bread, I used to make it all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. A nice stout.
Mm-hmm.
A nice stout makes for a good cake.
Yeah, it does.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
and a dirty Godiva too. Just saying.
Yep. Dirty Godiva on tap at the Line of the Rose right now.
Oh, and I heard
There
it
we
has some
are.
spice. So, Steve,
Everybody's liking this new beer.
yeah.
Oh,
So, has
Oh
that
cool.
man, I
got
need
some
to
of your
come by and
peppers?
I need to come sit on the front
Yeah,
porch
you
and
do.
hang out.
Oh,
You
Yeah.
do.
This is version 2.
okay.
Oh,
Okay.
cool.
It's a little spicy and
A lot
Oh.
spicy.
well,
So the Godiva
it's got a nice kick
spicier?
on the back end.
Nancy's
Oh,
got the spice on the back end just for you.
Yeah.
It's got the Betsky. It's the Betsky beer. I like this. So, is those?
okay.
Is this? Did you work with your peppers for this, Steve?
Yes, I did.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
It worked
So,
fantastically.
oh man,
Cool.
this is cool. This is.
Yeah.
You know what? We may have to make an out of trip to
A
try
little
to have
stop
this.
on your next. Mm,
I know you keep messaging me. This beer is out of the world. Now, let's move to you guys, right? Segue into the beer skis. I'm calling it. We got the butt skis, and then we've got the beer skis. The
yep.
beer skis in the roomies at the Lion and the Rose Bed and Breakfast. So I know you
Yeah.
have this package, the beer ski package. Tell everybody about this because, like, you could have Steve's beer on tap in your room. Like, in
Yep.
That's so
am I
cool.
saying this correctly?
Yep.
Yep. If you stay at least 4 nights, we'll give you a free in-room tap in your room, and we either will default to doing our wheat beer, which is a guest favorite, or if we have at least a few weeks' notice, Steve will make whichever type beer you want. All
Ooh.
yours.
Wow.
Mm.
Yep.
Mm.
Then you can go, I'll tap that. That's amazing. Like, really, to have your own beer in your room and just go, yay.
I tap that.
It's right there. It's easy access. That's awesome. So do you do gift certificates, Karen?
We do. So that is a popular item that we have, especially same thing like repeat that we'll give this other family member so they get more people in the loop, which is wonderful. Word of mouth is, as you know, is still best. The best advertising you can get.
Then people, well, only if you're doing the right thing. See, you guys can say that because you're
True.
doing the right thing. But if you're a bad restaurant and you
Then you can't.
a whole night of bad food, like your word of mouth is going to go sour on you. So it only works for businesses that do the right thing, and you guys do, which is,
Yeah, you're right.
I love it. It's personalized. That's the thing about a bed and breakfast. It's that personalized, touch, and that it's awesome. I'm not going
Yeah.
to quit on the beer yet because apparently your
Nope.
little Betsky dogs, your little Shih Tzus, yes, that's how I say it, Oreo and Ozzy,
Yep. Yep.
just had a
Cute.
photo shoot at Dissolver,
Mhm.
and this is the cute. It's Beer City in Dogs. Is that on Instagram? Is that the right one?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Seriously,
It is.
guys.
That's their personal page. Yep.
They're
Oh
so
my gosh.
cute.
Yeah.
They're
They
too
are
cute to not have their own page. They can't
Yeah.
be on the Line of the Rose all the time, so they have to have their
No,
own
they have
page.
they have to give autographs now, like a paw print or something.
Yeah, they do. They do. They
They have
are
lots
so
of friends
cute.
on this.
Well, they
Mm.
just tell us about the photo shoot because this is a cool thing. We want to vote for
So
them,
this
but
is
apparently we're not allowed.
yeah. This is a really cool fundraiser that one of our favorite breweries, Dissolver, does. This is going to be this is their 3rd year. They work with Asheville Humane Society.
Awesome.
So you give a donation to get your dog's picture taken, and it gets put on a beer label.
That's so
And then
cool.
a portion of all the beer sales go to the shelter. So we absolutely love this fundraiser. Think it's like the
Mm.
best thing that every brewery should be doing this with dogs on a beer can to help a shelter. We love this idea.
That's
That
so
is
Mhm.
cool.
cool. That
It's
is
way
so
cool.
cool. And it's
Yeah.
good beer that we need to go have, apparently. We need to go.
You
Next time
do.
we come,
Dissolver is
yeah.
never disappointing.
Well, we did
Mm.
do
Yeah,
one
sure, we're
thing
taking
that
you
we
there.
said we would. No, well, we did Two Trees Distilling. That was,
Yeah,
Yes.
that was
we're
good.
slowly conquering a list. Two Trees Distilling. I'm just going to say, if when you get to your family table, because you never know who's going to show up, and during the holiday season, I think you need to place an order with Two Trees Distilling first, and don't tell
Mm-hmm.
people about the full order. Never tell
Mm.
everybody your full hand. But you need to have ones that are like like, packed in places that people won't know, but it might make
Private
everybody have a
stash.
nice, happy conversation. I'm just
Yeah.
saying.
Lisa
Just
wants a
I
private
agree.
stash.
and
Yep.
they're open 7 days a week for tastings, and I encourage that. But
Yep.
I think people they have whiskeys that you can bring to the table, that like the flavored ones that
Mhm.
people that don't know they would like whiskey. I mean, I'm not talking about people getting drunk and stupid here. Or just warm up
Right.
the cold people
Yeah.
a little bit and warm
They
up the
certainly
warm
can have
people.
that whiskey.
Ooh, a what?
So they
Well,
certainly can get stupid if they want.
Yeah,
But
Well,
they can.
if
it's
they have
just
too much, maybe.
it's about being mellow. Like just
That's right.
relax. Go to that happy place in your mind.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Exactly, exactly. So we can do that, and I would say that would be some gifts to give to people, but also have at your
It
table.
would.
So that
Hmm.
would be something to do
Mhm.
on that level. But then
Hmm.
also when you
Yep.
look at what everything else that you have on this list for shopping, what would you do for people, doggy people? Because Asheville's dog friendly, and I know a
Yeah.
lot of doggy
There's.
people.
That's it. It is. It's very dog friendly. There's a couple of dog stores that you can find. The Dog Door Store is one. Patton Avenue Pet Company's another one, that they have a lot of great things for pets, not just the food, but toys and
Cool.
outfits and all that stuff.
Oh, very cool. Now, where's the place with the champagne? Isn't that something that a good, well, listen, champagne midday while you shop is not a bad deal.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yep,
For
that's
cooking,
the
yep.
Battery Park Book Exchange and Champagne Bar in Grove Arcade. That's one of our favorite little, we'll say, hidden gems we like to point out to people, saying Grove Arcade's a nice like shopping mall with anything and everything in there, but the architecture is beautiful to look at, nicely decorated for the holidays. But then you find things like the Battery Park bookstore in there, the Wake Foot Sanctuary, which is like our favorite spot to go unwind if you need a nice soaking foot bath to kick back and relax. Just fun stuff in there.
Mm. Cool.
That's neat. And then just even
Yeah.
like just walking down the River Arts District would be cool just to
Mhm.
go find places.
Exactly. River Arts
Nice.
has anything and everything: paintings,
Mm.
pottery, jewelry, you name it, you'll find it. All kinds of
Mm.
great artists down there.
Yep.
Well, I know
And
on your
beer.
list.
Awesome.
Oh,
Yeah.
beer. Okay, so
Mm.
breweries. Can you buy beer from breweries for friends, like as part of their gifts? Like, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, most of them have to go like 4 packs or 6 packs. Yeah.
Well,
Hmm.
that's cool.
Yep.
Well,
Cool.
Yeah.
then food wise, if you're going to do, okay, so like if you're going to do a gift package for people that are foodies that love
Mhm.
Asheville or even live in Asheville or North Carolina, um, what would you do? We get gift certificates, call them over at the cottage cooking class, right? You want to do
Mhm.
that. Obviously, get a
Definitely.
gift
Yep.
certificate for the Lion and the Rose Bed and Breakfast, just say,
Yes.
Yep.
and get one so
Yes.
you can have the keg in the room. Um,
Mhm.
and then you've got to get Jay later so that we can he can take photos of happiness. But what would you fill in there,
Yep.
like in regards for the foodie? Where would you go?
Hmm. If you want something a little bit more personal than a gift certificate, that's kind of a tougher one to call. But there's some of our favorite. We love. Well, I have a chocolate sweet tooth, so I like chocolate fetish. They have delicious chocolate truffles. They do
Yummy.
artistic chocolate, so it's always fun to just go even window shop in there. My favorite thing that I tell everyone is they make a woman's high heel shoe, an actual
Mm.
size 5 high heel shoe made of chocolate with different designs on it. So it's kind of like a Cinderella chocolate shoe. I mean, it's just cute stuff
Cool.
in there.
That's
Oh
cool.
man, that
Um,
is fun.
what
Chocolate.
about
Hey,
what would you say food, Steve?
Yeah, let's see.
what does the bee
Gosh,
charmer do? Do they have honey?
they have honey. Yep.
Yes, the Bee Charmer has
Ooh.
like dozens of types of different local honeys that you can try, and then all different kinds of honey products you can buy. So that's another little
Mm.
spot we like to point people to.
You
Mm.
only get two
Well,
locations too, I believe.
that's
Oh, that's
Mhm.
cool.
unusual. That's not
Oh,
something you're going to
Yeah.
find everywhere. That's
no.
unusual.
Mm-mm.
Well, of course they'd have
That's
to,
cool.
put the beer in the Two Trees Distilling House to go in there again. The other thing is,
Oh,
I
yeah.
know in your list, when we talk about fashion and things like that, you were talking about Paul Taylor Leather, which is like a custom belt creator. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little bit about that because that's pretty unique too.
Steve?
Yeah, I did the custom belts over there, and they have just about any kind of belt buckle you can imagine over there,
I
and
think
Whoa.
hundreds.
hundreds of different belt buckles. So, yeah, you can really, if somebody likes to wear belts and all that, or collects them, I mean, it'd be a good place to check out. I mean,
Yeah.
handmade and
That's a nice gift, custom made. If you
yeah.
know what somebody's, that's a really great place, I think, for something different.
Yeah,
I
you
just
got to
broke
get
my belt
his.
today, so I could use one.
Yeah, but see, you got to
Hint,
get
hint.
The Stetson
Oh.
hat, and then a belt buckle that is big enough for both hands to hold on to it.
Mm.
So you
There
can
you go.
stand there. There it is. You got to put your feet at least 2.5 feet apart, right? And stand there with your hands on the belt buckle with the Stetson hat and go, "Hi, y'all."
Well,
I
okay,
can put
wait a minute. You also,
my dancing expertise into work
oh
too. Put that to
boy.
work too.
Oh,
I
Oh,
cool.
learned a
listen
couple
to
weeks ago.
him.
Oh
Oh,
boy.
cool.
Well, I want to
Uh,
bring up Rocket Fizz because we're talking about foodie stuff. Rocket Fizz, I would like to go there
true.
because, come on, this is like, oh, this is
It's
nostalgia.
all the old school candies. I mean, anything
Oh,
you
we
can
want
think
that.
of
Mm,
that like we grew up with, and
cool.
it's just like you are really like a kid in a candy shop again.
Mm,
What? Remember the rocket
mm.
pops that would explode in your
No
mouth?
pun intended.
Oh, here it is.
Fireballs. The
Oh,
fireballs.
Oh,
and
love the fireballs.
don't
Yeah.
start me on. Yeah, there's like, yeah, a jawbreakers would
The
be,
jawbreakers, that's
Oh
it.
yeah.
Mm,
yeah.
mm.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean the rocket pops. I mean, I thought they were
The
get
pop rocks, the pop rocks.
pop
Oh,
rocks.
Pop
Oh
rocks.
Bob.
That's
man,
it.
when they go
Yeah, yeah.
crinkly in your mouth, there's like, I don't know if they're legal. Are they legal? Because I think, well, no, the
Yeah,
last
you
time
still
I
get them.
had it was in
You can still
California.
find
This,
them.
Yeah, but I was in
You can still find
California
them
the
here.
last time, and sometimes they get banned in certain places. I don't know, but candy has
Sure.
been like, you can't do this anymore. Like they took cocaine out of Coca-Cola. It's the same thing.
what?
Yeah.
Eventually, you're not allowed to do. Yeah, Coca-Cola used to have cocaine in it, Nancy. That's why it's called
Oh,
Coke.
okay. Not when
Like
I drink
seriously.
it. I
No,
don't
Long time
remember.
ago.
long,
I
long
don't
time ago.
remember.
Yep.
Yep, it was Coke before caffeine. Just going
Yep.
on the history of the history of the world. So
Mm,
yeah,
Yes.
so we've got old fashioned
Brought to
candy.
you by.
Okay. Going back to
Hmm.
clothes, you put on the list Virtue, Boutique, and Honey Pot.
oh,
So,
So those are both like there's a lot of nice little boutique type of shops on Lexington
mm,
Avenue. Virtue is one that I, kind of lean towards because they just have like a bunch of funky, different, unique items. They're young girls
cool.
that run the shop basically, but they like the retro stuff, so you can find
mm,
weird and funky and just cool stuff in there.
Cool.
that's cool. And then,
I like it.
um, music, you've got Citizen Vinyl and Voltage Records. You know
Mhm.
that, like, just to find a record shop these days. And,
Hmm.
if your friend collects records and you know who they've been trying to get, go look and go spend some
Mm.
time
Yeah,
looking and get back in a record store and see what it feels like. It's amazing.
it's so
Record
cool.
Hmm.
stores
Oh yeah.
are
Mhm.
There's a few in
cool.
town.
Yeah.
I'm glad
It,
vinyl's coming back. I think it's cool.
it is
It's
cool.
Mm-hmm.
so much fun.
I
It's
hope it,
warm.
Yeah.
It's got a warmer tone than CDs.
yeah,
Mhm.
It's
Yep.
just warmer. Yeah. I don't know how
Yes.
yeah.
else to say
That's a
it,
good. Yep.
It's
Good
just
description.
warmer.
You're right.
Mm.
Mhm.
Well, then, the original vinyl. The only problem is I want to eat the records because they look like licorice wheels that I used to get as a
Okay.
kid.
Hello.
And because now I'm stuck on the candy and they
You
look
might
like
try
licorice wheels. And
breakfast.
I would always look at the records going, I'm like Oreo, your little pup. I'm just like, can I eat that? I'd like to do that. That looks like licorice, but then I find out it's not, but no,
Yeah.
records are, I think, because people are, thrift stores are really making a huge comeback, which is fantastic. And people, you can find things, and just know your friends. You can give things that have been thrifted, or, used records and things like that, used books, antique books.
Oh gosh, yeah.
There's a certain period of time when things start to have to come through the recycling chain, and people look for certain things, and it's the thought that counts. You know
And
what I
it's
mean?
more valuable,
Absolutely.
actually.
Yeah.
It's harder to find.
I agree.
Yeah.
If your
Depends
friend
on the person.
It's more thoughtful.
Yeah, you might find a Jerry Garcia tie in one of the, thrift stores, and you have a friend that collects them. I have a friend who collects Jerry Garcia ties. She's got over 100 of them.
Okay.
I didn't know that
Like
was such a thing.
serious. Yeah, I
Wow.
didn't know either, but apparently there is. Like
Huh.
Good thing.
hey, it's
Cool.
a San Diego thing. Part of the highway there is the Jerry Garcia Highway, and every time I drive down it, I'm like, well, I'm waiting for like my Cherry Garcia Ben and Jerry's ice cream to miraculously appear, or something, hippie to happen, and nothing happens.
Yeah.
Like I keep waiting, but it doesn't. Okay, art. This is something interesting too, because you put Lexington Glassworks, also the Folk Art Center. So the Glassworks, is that like glass art that people can purchase, like?
So
That's
it is. The great thing about Lexington Glass is you can go in and watch demonstrations. So you can watch them making different pieces. So some days it might be a plate, a bowl, but they have several things in there you can buy. I honestly don't know if they do custom pieces. I think they might. But, of course, there's a bar in there, so you can get a beer in there as well. Where else can't you get? I mean, everywhere you get a beer around here. But it's just it's fun. They have unique pieces, and just watching it's just amazing how they do that with the glass. I couldn't do it.
I've watched people do the hummingbirds and stuff. There was a guy in near Vegas that was doing it, and you could watch that all day. Like they should put that on a webcam. You just sit there and watch it all day, because it's amazing, because it's hot,
I know.
Watch and do, and it's something unique. And that's the thing about shopping versus like the Black Friday hell. Like, honestly, come on, people. Except for you do make good Walmart videos. If you do it, like, we're going to watch you, that. But the other experience is go for a hike, opt outside, go into nature, right? On Black Friday and that weekend.
Absolutely.
And go have an experience yourself. And when you give your friend, or a family member, loved one, a piece of glass that you watch actually being blown and made, like that's amazing.
I think so too. Special.
We're missing the personal aspects of life, and that's where bed and breakfast and everything comes in.
Yeah.
Even Jay's photography, like who goes and gets a portrait done? Lots of people, right? But it's those things, those beyond the cell phone selfie. You know?
Right. It is.
Yeah,
same thing. Experience. That's the word I always go back to. It's an experience. Experience should be what life is about. That's what makes it interesting, making memories, sharing connections, all of that. Just, I can't imagine life without it for me.
Yeah, me neither.
There's something about taking a moment and actually thinking, not click and run. Just click, 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 and not even thinking about what you're looking at. Just click, 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 and hope it comes out. But you may never get to that spot again. So maybe slow down, take a deep breath, and actually look at what you're photographing. That would be a hint. Because we watch it all the time, and it's just like weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm sure
I did that today and
weird.
almost fell down a hill, but that's okay.
Nope.
Well, it happens.
Yeah.
What's the herbiary? Herbiary. How do you pronounce
The herbiary has like a lot of. It has some quirky, weird things in there, but like they're known for the loose leaf teas.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, like you said, Lucy, I'm like, where are we going? No brownies? But so it's really about things with herbs, so herbal teas and like lavender.
Yes, it's more focused. It is focused more on herbal teas and herbal medicine and stuff like that. So it's an alternative type of store. Never know what you might find in there.
I
That's
like those
cool.
kind of places.
No,
Yeah,
those
well,
are interesting.
well, it's also a
Mhm.
learning curve of we're this country is losing its actual native herbs. And so places like that
True.
seem to always let us learn about herbs and healing and things like that. And I really appreciate them because I was going to
Mhm.
say they're going off a limb. We can't say that with an herb, right? But they are.
Mm,
It's such hard
yeah.
work. And I know, sorry, I'm like silly, but it is hard work with what they do. And even to take
Mm-hmm.
all those extracts from this little plant that a lot of times is an annual and then create soap, create like this extract. It's like, and then we go get our,
Mhm.
$10 vial of something, yet so many things had to happen for that vial of extract that's going to help you do, you know, breathe
Yeah.
better, feel better. You know what I mean? It's really
True.
amazing. So,
It
okay, so
is.
herbiary. I want to say herbery.
Herbier.
I was in England this morning,
Well,
so
Maybe.
on a Zoom call.
I would say you're going backwards to English or South African roots, maybe.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if it's talking about herbs, we may go
It's a
back to South Africa
herbier.
before
I
England. I'm
think
just
it's
saying.
herbier, like
Yeah,
from
herbiary.
France. It's a herbier.
Maybe.
Oh
Yes.
boy. Just
Survey.
add it on. Add it on. The massed general store. General stores are cool because you can get. Well, it depends
Mhm.
on the store. You can go get a blouse and buy a tractor in the same place, depending on.
You're right.
Is that what it's
It
like?
is. So you won't find a tractor, but you will find pretty much anything in there. There's all kinds of like hiking gear for anybody who's out here hiking and maybe forgot something.
Oh,
So a lot of outdoor type gear, but then they'll have same thing like all kinds of like candies and different
cool.
souvenirs and stuff like that. So it's a nice mix of anything.
Cool.
That's cool. Very
Yeah,
cool. So
it's a good
lots
spot.
to do. Lots to do. And I also want to
Mhm.
say, hey, get a park pass if you want to go to Smoky Mountains. Buy a park pass
Mhm.
for
Mm-hmm.
fellow travelers. Those are kind of things you can get too. A lot of national parks have conservancies and associations that support the parks, which help with road signs and things like that, maintenance
Mm-hmm.
issues. And those nonprofits have all kinds of cool gear like books and things that you can look at buying. So I don't know about the Blue
Mhm.
Ridge Parkway. I don't know about Smoky Mountains. I'm just in general, each major
Right.
national park area. Like you guys are one of the most visited in the country, I believe, if not the most visited.
Yeah, I think so.
I
Yeah.
think it was still number one. I think so
Wow.
for
Mm.
Blue
The
Ridge
Parkway.
Parkway. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
when you're going to go shopping, isn't it cool to know that you shop somewhere where you help a park as opposed to a big box store where
Right.
you're helping people who are already too rich?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Uh-oh.
We always try to support small, support local. I mean,
Yeah.
those these are families who appreciate your business and they work hard
Mm-hmm.
to make a living.
Yeah.
So it's just like when you have the choice, it's not much of a
Yeah.
choice, honestly. It should be easy.
Yeah. I
Hmm.
agree. Feel good about it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mhm. You
Exactly.
do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And there's just buying an experience. So that's the other thing is to get gift certificates to
Right.
like line in the rows and people can create their own holiday as they, feel. Oh, I wanted to
Mhm.
bring up the book, 100 Things to Do in Asheville Before You Die for,
There you
uh,
go.
that's another thing you want to get. Amazing
Mhm.
book and
That'll give you more
author.
ideas for your next trip or for somebody else who hasn't been.
Mm-hmm.
Or
I mean, that's a great resource. A great resource. A lot of our little hidden gems, I'll say, are in there. So
Cool.
it's a good book.
That's
I was going to
awesome.
say with that, and it's by Christy Tolley, everybody, the author Christy Tolley, and that's
Mhm.
Christy with a K. She was on our show last year. We were doing like 23
Mm-hmm.
things to do in Asheville this year,
Mhm.
Hmm.
in 2023. But also when you think about it, it's for people coming into Asheville and moving in. That's a good gift too, so like a housewarming
Mhm.
gift and things like that. So lots of gifting ideas that all seem to have an
Yes.
experience, when you think about
Mm-hmm.
it.
Mhm.
And Two
Definitely.
Trees, the engraving at Two Trees Distillery, that's going to be cool
Oh
too
yeah.
with their new
Yep. We're looking forward to
engraving.
checking that out soon,
Cool.
Awesome.
and we'll let you
Awesome.
know. Yep. We'll let you know
Okay.
on that one.
Yay.
Mhm.
Alrighty.
Yay. Everyone, we are here every first Tuesday with the Lion and the Rose peeps, our Mr. and Mrs. Wild, Steve and Karen Wilson. So go to lion-rose.com. All the links are in the show notes. And also for Jay Schultz, his photography, go to his site, spartanphotography.zenfolio.com, and check that out. And of course, we're here, bigblendradio.com. Thanks, Steve and Karen.
Thanks.
Oh, thank you.